everyone. Happy Social Media Week Lima 2024. All about roots. So, what does roots mean to you? What does that theme mean to you? We asked many people in our Facebook group. If you're not part of it, please join. That one simple question: what does roots mean to you? And you would be surprised by all the different answers that we got to that one question. To me, roots isn't where you're from, it's who you are. As Chad said, it's the stories that we tell that go with us. This is my story, and the story of Now Marketing Group and how it was created. This house was one of 27 that I lived in before the age of 17. And no, my family was not part of the military, but we moved around a lot, unfortunately. My mom found us moving all the time, and this is one of the houses that we lived in. As a teenager, I found it really embarrassing to take people back to, at that time, my roots, both because I was embarrassed of the house that I lived in, the furniture that we had and didn't have. So I had friends, when they would come pick me up, drop me off to the home next door. I pretended that this was my home because I was too embarrassed to take them back to mine. I didn't want anyone to know because I felt like that would define me. The poverty that we had, the no car, the house that we lived in, that, as you can see, had some boards holding up some stuff. It was nothing cute. But one day I got busted when I was getting dropped off at this house of mine. They happened to be outside, and they were like, why is this strange girl coming to the backyard trying to pretend that she lives here? And that moment for me, though, was an awakening. It was, I am not where I live. This is not my story. I used that pain and motivation to then take on 3 jobs. Working has always been my thing. I love it. And I started working a lot and started saving up. I'm going to show my age a little bit here. Does anybody remember layaway? Maybe I'll show all your ages too, if you raise your hand. But I started laying away plates, cups, furniture, all the items that I could. So the moment the clock struck midnight on my 18th birthday, I moved into my first apartment. I was actually the very first student in our high school to have an apartment, and it became the hangout house to the point where I used to put, sorry, we are closed on the front door. But thankfully, Amber, she's here somewhere. She probably checked you in. She's been with me along for the ride and partook in many nights at that house as well. Here's the story, though, behind it. When times look dark, you can remember what you're created to be. Has anybody ever heard the story of the lotus flower and how it grows? I love the story so much, I actually have it tattooed on my wrist, and it'll be a little Easter egg for what next year's theme is going to be. But the lotus flower is a flower that grows in murky, dark, dirty waters. But it is one of the most beautiful flowers that you will ever see. In Bali, they actually really, it symbolizes a lot for them because of that story, that grit. The seed is planted. It doesn't matter where it was planted, but it grows because it knows what it's created to be. For me, after working, I've rerouted a couple times. I started working my first big girl job, telecommunications job. I was working for Verizon, worked my way up from customer service to store manager, to distribution partner for them. Loved it, loved being a nerd and getting to make and build relationships. Because one thing I learned with moving around a lot, you have to be good at connecting with people. Because being the new kid at a different school each time is terrifying. But it was that where I was rooted that I learned some of the best lessons that could take me along my path and journey to build relationships with all of you. To learn to authentically relate and really care about who you're having a conversation with. So I use those skill sets from the hard times to take me into my career moving up the ladder, the corporate ladder. Thought I had my forever job. As a distribution partner, I got to travel around and work with mom and pop shops and help them with their marketing, help them with their hiring, tell them about why they should sell our cell phones instead of somebody else's. And at that time, social media was just coming out. It was a big thing for a mom and pop shop that couldn't afford a big marketing budget, but they could afford to set up, on a Facebook page and tell people about their business. They loved it. So all the while, though, as I'm growing and thinking I have my forever job, I'm on the road a lot, I had a moment with this little daughter that's jumping on the couch. I call it my Tom Cruise moment. That's also showing my age, if you guys remember him jumping on the couch on Oprah. But that moment with this little girl, when I was pregnant with her, I got very, very sick. I was in the hospital 8 out of the 9 months I was pregnant. I had a food bag, everything, something called hyperemesis. I'd never heard of it before. Well, that job that I had, that I loved, unfortunately, they said, we can't keep you in your position here. Because right now, we need to cover more territory. We're growing. Cell phones are advancing. We need to cover more territory. And they let me go. I was devastated. I thought I had my forever job. How could they let me go? I was a great salesperson for them. This was my final resting place for work, so I thought. But again, when times get tough, remember what you're created to be. See, while I was in that hospital room, though, one thing happened. I may have been sitting there, but my phone kept ringing from all the relationships with the clients that I had made along the way, and they were asking me questions about how to get their social set up. They were asking me new advancing questions, checking in on me, and a spark went off. I said, you know what? I want to create something I want to be part of, where nobody can ever let me go again. And I want to redefine corporate America and how we should treat one another, not just be focused on selling, but be focused on serving. So I started Now Marketing Group in 2010 with a laptop and a vision. I've been able to now work with people all across the world. I have the best team in the world. You guys have seen their hard work here today, have you not? Right? And they genuinely care. They care, and that's the difference that makes all the difference. Been able to do social media for NASA. We've won Inc. Best Places to Work, Forbes Agency Partner, all kinds of things, but showing up to care. Because our roots are the desires that we carry inside of us. It's those seeds of who we truly innately are and how we want to show up to the world. It's also, I like to say, believing is seeing. When you have that desire and you've planted it, visualize it before it's even here. So as you're sitting here and you're learning about AI and you're going to learn about all kinds of stuff that's going to help your business. But the one thing that you will always have, no matter what comes in your way, is those desires and those seeds that you're planting now and how you're showing up to care. Because things are going to happen along your journey that may change things up. You may have to reroute into another way as technology is changing. But it's what you carry inside of you that's still going to go with you no matter where you go. Your path may not be clear right now, but the key is to keep showing up. The seed is your belief when we're talking about roots. The planting is our intentions. How do we want people to feel when we're working with them? How do we want people to feel after we've engaged with them? Because the growing part is about every interaction that you have. So the seed, starting from the inside out, here's how you apply this to your business. I'm not just up here just to share my story, but by the way, I've only shared it one other time. So I love all of you. It will definitely something I want to share with you because I don't want people to see me for my past. I want them to know how much I care. But this is how it applies to your business. Starting from the inside out, that seed, that belief. First is your mindset matters. Garbage in, garbage out. You're going to hear a lot more about that from Mark Boker. He's brilliant at this, where he's going to talk about how to be a heroic leader. But that's definitely what it takes, no matter if you're working for yourself, you're a solopreneur, if you run a big company, many companies, or if you're working in an industry right now, a company that you love, because no matter where you go, your mindset matters first. Know what you're created to be and repeat it often. I have shared with many of my friends the 4 pillars I'll also put it in the group chat that I read to myself every day. It's just a good reminder as you're going through the day. And there's some negative Nancy's out there, you know? But it's good to recenter and know what you are created to be. And always have a gratitude mindset. If you show up with those 3 things, you can literally speak what you want into existence, especially when you're feeding your soul what you want to create. Learning from everyone else around here and all the speakers, when you're feeding in good information is going to come out. Good things are going to come out. So be mindful of that. The next is, once you know this, you have your own brand manifesto. How many of you have created a brand manifesto in here before? All the people I've worked with, and a few others. Yes, I love it. Google brand manifesto, but actually even more than that, I'll put in the app a link where you can create your own. But the brand manifesto is everything we just talked about, and that's put into action. It is the North Star for your business. It's a lot different than a tagline or a mission statement. Your brand manifesto is what people are going to feel about you when they work with you. It's who's going to want to work with you, and it's going to draw people in like a magnet versus a bullhorn. Like Now Marketing Group's brand manifesto, in the heart of every business lies a story, a vision for the future written long before any transaction takes place. Great businesses are focused on culture, led by their visionaries who truly get the power of relationships. Built on the foundation of passion, integrity, and hard work, at times it simply takes a partner that aligns with their ideals, mirroring their willingness to do the work necessary to drive their visions into reality, choosing to do what's right, not what's easy. We are fueled by relationships, driven by our results, and a catalyst for creativity. Apple also has a brand manifesto, Whole Foods, many others that you probably would recognize. It's not something that we blast out there and share with everyone, but it is our North Star at Now Marketing Group. Because when we start working with any client or working on a project, we ask ourselves, are we doing what's right, not what's easy? Is it somebody that we do want to work with? Are we truly investing and caring about their journey too? How can we show up to serve them? How can we help them outcare their competition? The CARE approach is an acronym. I'm a huge fan of acronyms. I'm a nerd with that. But it's how we show up to help people capture attention, articulate their message, tell their stories, like Chad was sharing and we're sharing here now, have a relationship-first mindset, and be focused on exceptional experiences. Because I believe once we have this in place and you have your brand manifesto and then you're showing up to care, what happens is you start growing your business like a flywheel effect. It's that momentum, that brand manifesto is that energy that you're gonna put in that's gonna start turning your followers into your true fans, your clients into your biggest advocates, your team members into your biggest evangelists for you. People will turn into your marketing army for you. When we know what we're created to be and we have our brand manifesto, now it's time to plant those desires, creating that culture of care. Like I said, starting from the inside out. The first layer is who we innately are, what we want people to know about us and feel about us, and how we want to show up. It is our legacy. It is how people will describe us to others. And then building that from the next layer is how you want people to engage with you, that culture, the team members that you want to bring in. So you have an all-star team like Now Marketing Group. It's who you want to do business with and for. Listing it out, knowing who your ideal audience is, knowing who is that person that you want to create more relationships with. And then delighting, delivering, and doing again. Live life as everything is rigged in your favor is one of my favorite quotes by Rumi. When we show up believing again, believing is seeing. And sometimes you just have to bring your own sunshine too to keep things growing and keep showing up. Activate your purpose and align it with your beliefs. This is what will help you grow. And that's your interactions that you have with others. Interactions with creating psychological safety. We talked a lot about that last year. If you weren't here last year, we have that video. It was the opening one I did last year, talking about creating psychological safety. Because as you hear about all this new tech that we're going to be talking about with AI and all the advancing that has happened, we want to make sure that our team members feel psychologically safe to start testing some new things, trying out some new ideas. This is going to be how you keep up in your business and how you continue to grow. But when you have those other foundational pillars in place first, you will be able to continue to grow and advance with this technology without losing your North Star. Relationship first mindset, always leaving people better off than when you found them, is my motto. This will, again, turn your followers into your biggest fans, your clients into your advocates, your team members into your evangelists, and community members into collaborators. I know so many people that have co-created here just from making relationships by being at this event. I want to encourage you to do the same. Make some connections. Ask authentic, relating type questions to others like, hey, what's your next goal that you're working on? Or what's something, what is your roots? What does roots mean to you? That's an easy one. One of my favorites is, what's your superpower and what's your kryptonite? Always throws people off, but it's a great way to break the ice, and they're going to remember that interaction. When you start having those conversations and making those connections, that's where the magic happens. They're going to remember you. They're going to want to keep coming back and having that conversation with you. Relationships are the currency in business, I believe. And experiences are the way that that transaction is exchanged. How are we making people feel? What can we do just a little bit different in our business to continue growing our roots and making sure that we are showing up in the way that people want to talk about us? I've shared many, many times, 90% of the buying cycle starts online. People are doing a search, seeing what company to work with. Do I choose company A or company B? And 60% of that cycle is over before they even talk to a representative at your business and make that decision. They're judging it off what their reviews say online. What are other people saying about you? That word of mouth that is their best generator of business is now word of mouth because all of those things are public. So we want to make sure that every interaction that we have with others is positive. They want to talk about us. They want to share about us. They want to review us. They want to tell others why they should do business with you. Relationships will always be more powerful than marketing. And building the right relationship is essential to our growth. So I want to ask you a question. What desires have you been holding back? What is your roots? What is that seed that you want to plant maybe here and now, or something that you've had that dream since you were younger and you haven't been able to see how that's going to turn into your next growth adventure? When you think about roots, again, I told you I'm a nerd with acronyms. Roots are the relationships we create, the opportunities we take, the obstacles that we overcome, the testimonies that we tell, the stories that we're sharing, right? The stories that we share. That, when you think about roots, this is innately who you were created to be and how you can show up to continue growing. Here's that workbook if you want to go to the QR code. Again, I'll put this in the app because I know it's really hard to take QR codes, but I'm going to give you a workbook on how you can create your brand manifesto and also how you can build out your own care plan. Or you can just go to nowmarketinggroup.com/care. Thank you, everyone. I want you to take this time with this event and build your roots, continue to grow and expand. Thank you, guys.